Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the channel and where we find out how to not pay bills, because I don't know about you, but I'm done paying bills. For those who've been following my journey with the eviction, I have until January, but I'm going to keep, because my court date was on November 15th. I'll keep y'all updated with that. For those who've been following this journey, I'm thinking of ways by January to live a rent-free life. There's other videos on here about how to live rent-free. So definitely subscribe. I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you subscribe, that would mean the world to me. But let's get into it, because this man makes a free house out of snow. Can you believe that? A free house out of snow. Let's check it out.
A simpler life off the grid. Now, with the current state of our political climate, my very average salary qualifying me for about a quarter of even the most below average homes, and even miraculously tripling up my salary would still barely get me into a house. I figured now is no better time than ever to start my new, simpler life out in the wilderness. So I ventured deep.
So it's not just me. Okay, just making sure, because I'm so done. I'm so done with this rent stuff. I'm so done.
Out into the open land, searching for the perfect spot to build my new home. After walking for hours, I found the perfect spot, completely void of civilization, nothing but fresh air and open space. So I began tracing out the floor plan and clearing the land. But who knew building your own home was going to be so exhausting? Now to start on the structure. But with lumber prices obliterating pre-COVID records, I decided I have to use what's around me to build my home. After laying a few blocks, I realized that minus 15 is way too hot to be wearing all this winter gear. With the foundation complete, it's time to level it off and start working my way up. Throughout the video, you'll start to notice people popping in and out from the local tribe that were just so eager to help, though their help was usually short-lived. As I started to get higher, I could use this screwdriver anchored to the center point with a string to figure out the angle I need to start cutting the blocks at. As it started to get higher and more horizontal, we realized that to stop the blocks from falling in, all we really had to do was prop up the first block and be holding on to the last block in line, and all the rest would naturally stay up thanks to the arch. Once the last block was wedged in place, the whole layer would naturally support itself. We also had to make sure the blocks were cut to a fairly consistent trapezoid angle and fill in any remaining gaps with some hard chunks of snow. As the sun set on my first 8 hours of work, I had 90% of the structure of my new home completed. In the morning, I just had to cut some larger cap pieces to finish off the top. And mix up some slush to mortar in all the gaps. And after adding an entranceway, first, I'm going to install some heat. Those of you familiar with my channel will recognize this from another build. I made it to be a portable wood-fired pizza oven, but it's actually going to make a perfect wood stove. I did a whole video on building this, so I'm going to leave a link to that up in the top right corner. And using some pine branches, I can insulate the igloo from the heat of the smokestack. Now I know people are going to say I said this was going to be an off-grid build, and I wasn't lying. This power comes from the nearest solar wind farm, definitely not the house next door. So for a table, I had an idea to do an ice slab countertop. So here I'm just using some foam insulation and some silicone to whip up a quick mold for some water. And as I let that freeze, I'll start working on an easy little base for this table. A day later, my solid slab plan didn't quite pan out, but it's still about an inch thick, so I'm just gonna cheat and use some plywood underneath and then use some slush to pack it around the edges and let that freeze up so it looks a lot thicker. And not too bad. Now all I need is just a little window. Using the same method as the slab table, I just froze up a little window, cut a hole, and used some slush to mortar it into place. And after lighting up a fire, it's time to move into my new home.
Wow, he even got TV and everything. I wonder, how does it not melt? That's what I'm curious about. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's outlandish to live in a house made out of snow, right? I get it, right? But at the end of the day, I make these videos so that we could start thinking outside the box. Because at the end of the day, I stated this in a previous video. Mortgage, right? The root word, mort, like these English words, they mean stuff, right? A lot of our words come from Latin. The root word mort means death. So the mortgage was designed to you to pay until you die. And that's why, unless you have a trust or unless you're wealthy, it's very difficult to pass down your house. Like if you're a regular average Joe, American, it's very difficult to pass down your house from one generation to the next. Because what happens is they got to pay. It's just a mess. And that's by design. That is by design, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me know what you think of this place by recommending the most ridiculous thing you could think of to put in an igloo below. And who knows, maybe I'll do it. And for reference, on the night I shot this, it was -10 outside, and with the fire going, I could keep it about 3 degrees inside.
Oh my God, that's crazy. No wonder why it doesn't melt. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, because we need to start thinking of exiting, getting our way out of the matrix, because we're all, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Chinese, all of that. We need to really stop focusing on the nonsense, because at the end of the day, we are all slaves to the 1%. And to be honest, if you really know, the 1% are not even human, they're reptilians, but y'all not ready for that. That's my other channel. So I wish you all the best. I will keep you updated on eviction. And I'm thinking that I'm going to move into a storage unit. That's where I'm going, I think. But let's subscribe and let's see where this journey takes me. Toodaloo.